Hi guys, and welcome to another video on my art channel. Today I teamed up with some other artists on Instagram. We decided to create a painting to the prompt Fairytale. If you are interested in seeing their paintings too, I will link them on Instagram on my painting that I will post there. I think Fairytale is a really cool prompt where you can create so many things too, and in general fairy tales are something I really enjoy. It's really opened up to your interpretation, I think. At first I wanted to paint something about elves or fairies or something like that, and I already had an idea in mind of a flying fairy, but I kind of got off of that idea because I also wanted to try out painting a really dark forest, because that's kind of something I really loved when I thought about fairy tales that I read as a child. They are always about the really dark forest where then something strange happens. And I kind of like mystic dark nature and trees in general. Creating this dark forest though was quite a challenge. I decided to stick to an idea that I once heard on YouTube. It's about painting a really light layer and then adding darker and darker layers on top of that. So it's kind of like you leave out trees in every layer, and so you have a really light tree and then darker trees until there's just the dark layer on the background, the really like nearly black layer. And I tell you, this took so long. I mean, it's not perfect at all. It was the first time that I really tried this technique out, and it didn't at all turn out perfect, but I still learned a lot and I think it was really worth it. Trying out new things is always something challenging but also really fun for me. Something I kind of struggle with is that I think I've seen a video and now I'm perfect at it, even though I haven't really tried it out. So I was kind of angry as I first did it, and I didn't think it through. I was like, just give it a shot and don't really draw too much, don't really plan out too much, which I don't really recommend. With this technique, it's a good idea to really look which shapes and where should the shapes go, because when you add the darker and darker layers, you can start to forget where was the other tree that I wanted to have, and that's when you accidentally start to paint over a point where a tree should get, or whatever shape you wanted to draw, and that's kind of frustrating. I mean, I kind of had a plan of where the shapes and the trees should go, but I didn't really stick to it too much. That's what made it hard for me. But if you want to try this technique out on your own, the only thing I can really recommend to you is to have fun and learn from your mistakes. Because at the end, they may have not turned out the way I wanted them, but it still looks kind of cool, and there's so much I learned from it. So when I planned out this painting, I thought of the artworks I saw as a kid in these fairy tale books, and I wanted to make it look like an old sheet of paper that's from one of these really old books. I remember as a child when I looked at these paintings, I always thought it's kind of someone who drew it and was really there. I thought that someone had the experience and then came back and was like, I need to draw this. So I thought like with this painting there was someone walking next to her and kind of seeing the bad wolf and was like, whew, I really need to remember this, and then went home and kind of painted it. I don't know, that was just what I always thought as a kid. And I wanted the finished piece to look as if you could jump in it and experience all on your own. Not that I wanted it to look really realistic, I just wanted it to be like one of the fantasy stories that you really wanted to be a part of. At least I wanted to as a child. Now moving on to the fairy tale I chose. I don't know if you already realized it, but I'm painting the Little Red Riding Hood. I don't know how I came up with this idea. I just thought of a forest and then kind of thought I could create a painting that's all in kind of green tones and all really green, and then make the red hood really pop out. And I was kind of in love with this fairy tale as a child. I don't even know why. I thought it was cool that at the end someone saved her so heroically. And I always loved the questions the Little Red Riding Hood gives the wolf. They were so sweet in my opinion. As a kid, I always wanted to go through a forest like this, and I always wanted to be there and live a story like that. But even just being in the nature and being in such a dark forest would have been really cool for me as a kid. I still love nature and love forests really much, and I can't wait to go hiking again. Moving on to Red Riding Hood herself. I am not 100% happy with the way she turned out, because to me she looks a bit stretched in a strange way, like someone pulled at her legs and her head, like someone just pulled on her head and her legs. I don't exactly know what I did wrong, but I think it's that the head turned out a little bit too long and a little bit too straight. I'm not sure if you even can see this the way I see it, because I'm always really critical with my own art, but that's something that bothers me a little bit when I look at it. But that's something I guess every artist needs to work on. The way we criticize our own art is always kind of off, I guess. I mean, it's good that we try to get better, but sometimes we just can't be happy with the things we do, and we also need to lay back and be like, yes, that's something really good I did, and I tried out something new and I made some cool stuff this time. I just think that we sometimes should be like, great job! We should tap ourselves on the shoulder and be proud of ourselves. Because we invested some time in it and we really tried our best, and we should appreciate that more. I always see it with other artists, and I can remember being that way myself when we post a finished painting or show a finished painting and we are like, yeah, I know, and this is off and this is off, I hope it's still kind of okay. And I know we can use this information when we look at our paintings and be like, okay, that's something I can work on next time, but it's not like the painting is pure garbage now, and it's still something we can appreciate, in my opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you that you sticked around so long. I know I talked a lot this time. I hope you all like this. It's just like someone once said, brain garbage. I think it's like some things that go through my mind when I create art, and I thought maybe it's interesting to someone and someone wants to hear it. If that's true, then please leave a comment and tell me what you liked, so I can change the videos or can make them cooler for you. This would really help me. Thank you. Also, there's a little part missing in this video. It looks like I just cut it out, but again, my camera had no battery anymore, and instead of telling me something like bleep bleep or some kind of noise, it just went out, and well, I didn't notice it until a few minutes later, so that part is missing. Thanks, camera. Well, I hope you still liked the painting, and I hope you still liked what I created, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Have some fun, maybe draw something for yourself. Maybe also draw a painting to the prompt Fairytale. If you do so, I would love to see it. I always love to see what other people create with the same prompt. That's why I love Scrawlerbox so much. And that's why I love this challenge so much, because the other artists did so many great things. And some things I never thought of when I thought of Fairytale. And it's so cool to see them. I hope we see each other next time. Bye!